Hello and welcome to the Fish Out of Water podcast. You're here with me, Matt, Isaac, and Alex, and today we're going to be breaking down the entire NFL season as well as debriefing the Super Bowl since we missed the chance last week. On top of that, we will jump into some of the All-Star Game festivities and see how we feel about that. So without further ado, I can see Isaac's pretty excited. So let's get into the Super Bowl debrief. So what were your thoughts about it initially overall?
Well, I thought that was a great game. I remember I was actually with Matt watching this game, and man, I was like nervous the entire time. I couldn't really I was so stressed out watching that game. I'm not gonna lie, especially as a Rams fan. But
I gotta say one thing real quick. This guy got so excited on one play, he hit me in the face.
wait, which play was it again?
It was earlier in the game. It was like
frick. Okay. But I don't know. This game I thought was like a lot went against the Rams this game. Between injury, a free 75-yard touchdown at the start of the second half. And I just thought it was crazy that they were able to pull through with it. Yeah, I honestly couldn't have asked for a better game. And I wouldn't have wanted it any other way. Coming down with all these stuff against you. Ben Skoranic's playing. Bryson Hopkins, the third string tight end's playing too on the final drive of the game, and still managing to win just by spamming Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, facts. Like Loki, this is like the Rams' year. Like, if they didn't win this game, it would honestly been a massive failure considering like all the draft picks they gave up and like all the investment they've had. Because let's be honest, they're not gonna as much as they want to return the same roster, it's not gonna be the same roster they're coming back. They just don't have enough money. Like, they have to extend Stafford. They can't just bring unless if like all these dudes take massive pay cuts, they can't bring everyone back. So that's number one. And number especially like with head coach like Zach Taylor, like he low-key like sold the game. Like once they went up like what was it, 1913 or was it 2013?
2010, I think 2010.
Yes, like they had a somewhat of a comfortable lead. I don't know why they wouldn't run Joe Mixon. Like they just kept throwing, and then Joe Burrow kept getting sacked. I'm like, I don't know what he was doing because like Joe Mixon was low-key getting good yards on like 11 carries, and when we keep throwing the ball with that O-line, like I feel so bad for Joe Burrow, bro. Like I swear to God, I don't know what's worse, bro. Like Joe Burrow's O-line protection or like Andre Drummond's rim protection, bro. Like it's so bad, bro. Like it's so bad. Like there's no way Joe Burrow is gonna have a healthy career unless if they draft literally all offensive linemen for the next 2 years.
I think they will. I think they'll sign an offensive lineman and draft like 3 more.
I really think about it. Like that's their only weakness, as a team.
Yeah, to an extent. But to add on to what Alex said, sorry, you're 100% right. Like first thing I said to myself is Zach Taylor sold the game. He quit running. Like the run game was successful. I can't remember the exact number, but the dropbacks in the fourth quarter were ridiculous. And I think they had 50 total yards in the second half. It was some ridiculous number. Burrow got sacked 7 times, I believe all in the second half as well, which ties a Super Bowl record with my Broncos. And it was ugly. Like, I don't understand why he abandoned the run like that. I think he just panicked in the moment. And what I'll give credit to was McVay. I think McVay did the exact opposite of what Zach Taylor did. I remember in the first Super Bowl, McVay did abandon the run late. But in this Super Bowl, the Rams, I think it was 22 rushes for like 50 yards, which is horribly inefficient. But they kept running the ball. Like they were persistent. They kept the defense on their heels. And I love the game plan. But big picture, Rams, I picked them to win this game, and they overcame an injury that I thought was going to make them lose the game. I thought they lost the game when Odell got hurt. I really do. When I watched him go down, I said, they are one-dimensional. The Rams, they looked horrible for 2 straight drives. We watched him do it. And then I think they came out in the second half and they had that interception, which wasn't really Stafford's fault, and it just felt like the game was flipping. But man, I got to give all credit to Stafford and McVay, because that was a clinic in the second half. And as soon as it mattered most, Aaron Donald and Von Miller came ripping across the sides, just tormenting Burrow. So,
dude, okay. Let's talk about the D-line first. I'm pretty confident that was like an all-time performance from a defensive line.
Absolutely.
Especially in the second half.
100%.
That was, the best players came to play. Even like Leonard Floyd was big. I thought. Everyone came to play. Someone who I thought is like low-key an unsung hero, A'Shawn Robinson. Like the Bengals were like running pretty well, but what really stopped them from really running is when A'Shawn Robinson, he plays DT. He stopped the run. He was like solely responsible for stopping the run, outside of Aaron Donald stopping P. Ryan on the last 3rd and 1. But yeah, I think just the entire D-line played incredible. Chemistry's there. All-time performance. It's an all-time pass rush right there.
I mean, really quick, you reminded me, while we're crapping on Zach Taylor, you're at the end of the game. We know what the Rams pass rush is. You have a 2nd and 1, and you're telling me you couldn't go to 1 yard in 3 tries.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And also, not to flame them even more, but I did not like that last play call. Like, you made your best receiver go one-on-one, a wide out against Ramsey, and everyone else had like 4-yard curls. Like, Joe Burrow just didn't have the time. Like, they should have ran at least a shorter play, because the pass rush was coming. Like, Burrow, as soon as the first read wasn't there, he was sacked. And if you looked at the replay, Jamar was open. But, I mean, it's not like he's going to have time to make that throw.
Time.
Yeah.
It's
terrible. Also a big thing is like, I mean, you've like, obviously we've heard around like people saying like, oh, the Bengals are going to be back, stuff like that. But like, I really don't know if they are going to be back, to be honest. Like, especially with all the quarterbacks in the AFC, like, people don't realize how hard it is to make it to a Super Bowl. And just because you have a young roster and a young upcoming quarterback doesn't guarantee you're going to make it in the next few years. Because, like, with this O-line, I don't see Joe Burrow finishing a season at this point. And, like, also, like, you're like, after this like 3 year window, that's when like Burrow's rookie contract's up, so you can't fill out the roster like you did these few years. So I really don't know like when they'll be back, because like, if we're being honest, would you even pick them as like a top 3 favorite to make it out of the AFC next year? Probably not.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. So it's like, how are they really going to ever be back? Like, this was low-key their year too, if you really think about it.
Yeah. Well, I 100% agree with you. I've been saying I don't see them making a Super Bowl for 5 years. I really don't.
And the window's 5 years because of that rookie deal, like in terms of getting the best roster you can,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, I'm not going to take anything away from them, but even against the Chiefs, like it to me, it was pretty clear who truly was like the better team. I just thought that game was more the Chiefs falling apart than the Bengals out scheming them.
Sure. I'm with you. I mean, you ask me right now who's a better team. I don't think there's one person on earth who says the Bengals. Same thing with the Rams. I don't think there's one person on earth who you would say that about. The Bengals had a terrific run. I'm not even going to say they're well coached. I just think they're a wildly underrated defense with a smart quarterback who doesn't mind getting hit. And this was a great run for them, but I don't see him coming back. I'm 100% with you.
Personally, I think their biggest weakness is they're too dependent on the big play. If you take away that 75-yard lucky face mask missed call, they really did nothing on offense in the second half.
Yeah.
No, they actually did nothing. Like,
literally did nothing. They're too big play dependent, and like big plays, chunk plays are key in the NFL on offense, but you have to set up that chunk play through these methodical things. Like the Rams, they could not get anything going on the ground, but with the run game, it's not necessarily just about getting the yard. It's also about getting the attempts, And by doing that, you keep the defense on their heels. And, by doing that, it led to big chunk plays and stars coming through. And, when the Bengals kind of just kept chucking it down the field, it doesn't help that their O-line can't get Joe Burrow any time. But I think their scheme is too dependent on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase making a ridiculous play, or a screen pass every once in a while.
My thing with them is they got to run Mixon more. Like Mixon has got to be one of the most underrated backs in the league. And they needed to give him his touches late in that game, especially with the lead. You have the lead, run the ball.
Yeah.
But yards,
Stupid.
It wasn't like they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
Anyways, we can move on to the next thing. I think it's pretty clear. Rams were the favorites. Big win for LA for sure. Actually, let's talk about LA. I think Alex said this earlier. How do you see the Rams rebuilding this roster, and do you see them coming back to a Super Bowl in the future?
It's hard to say. We haven't started free agency yet, and the Rams are like $4 million in the cap, and there's a lot of guys they have to bring back. I think there's like 5 key guys. There's a lot of key guys that are free agents this year. Obviously, Von Miller, OBJ. OBJ's situation is kind of interesting. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl. So his thing is a little interesting. Then Tyler Higbee's also a free agent this year. He was huge for the Rams throughout the playoffs and the season as a whole. I think our second corner, Darius Williams, is also a free agent. He didn't necessarily have the best year, but as a number 2, it can't get much better than that.
It can get a lot better than that.
I wouldn't say a lot better. I still think he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Tough year, but
Ashawn Robinson's is a free agent too. There's a lot of guys, that were key players, and the Rams being $4 million on the cap. On top of that, you got Stafford's extension coming up too. There's a lot of things that can happen. It's hard to tell. There's just, I don't know. There's not that many assets left for the Rams to trade for. So unless they trade Jalen Ramsey, I guess, but that's not going to happen, So I don't know. We'll see. It really depends on how much of a pay cut Von Miller and OBJ are willing to take at this point in their careers. But most likely, probably not. To be realistic, this is a go for it year, and we got it. We got the Super Bowl, traded for Von Miller, got OBJ. And it's and the NBA does the buyout market where this year Dragic went to the Nets for free, those kind of guys where they get bought out. It's kind of the same thing that happened here. It's just not sustainable, this kind of talent with being $4 million under or over the salary cap. Yeah, I would probably say no, but you never know. The Rams find a way.
The next 5 years, you don't see him making a Super Bowl?
I mean, dude, we have to draft.
I think the window's the next 2.
We have to draft unbelievably well. Aaron Donald's 30. He might retire. I doubt it, but
not retiring.
And then we don't have any draft picks, so we have to draft phenomenally in the third and
yeah, that's tough.
Third and fourth rounds, fifth, even I think our second round picks are gone now because we traded for Von Miller. So we really just gotta draft well, find free agents what we've been doing. Darius Williams was a free agent, but yeah, it's just gonna be tough to do so, I'd say.
Yeah, it's tough to recover from a Super Bowl roster. I think the next I think they have probably I give them a 2-year window, probably about left, and it's because after you win the Super Bowl, it's just so hard to rebuild that roster, especially when you the Rams are gonna have to extend Stafford, and that's gonna be 5 years, around 200 million or so. So that's gonna also hurt the long-term future of the roster. So in order for the Rams to like be back, they also like I would also think like now since like they won a Super Bowl, I also think a lot of like veterans would take a pay cut to like play for the Rams, especially considering it's in LA. So I could see, them still getting players like Odell and Von Miller throughout like, during free agency and like during the season.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there. I don't think Vaughn's coming back. I'd bet anything. He's getting older. I could see him retiring, but I guess the rumor is he's testing free agency. But I'm not even kidding. I see him going to Denver. I just have a weird feeling he wants to finish his career here. Not only that, when it comes to the Odell situation stuff, it's interesting. But overall, I think the Rams can absolutely make it to another championship, especially if Rodgers leaves the NFC. I think the Rams are a team with a great culture, a coach they trust, and I think you can see that through Vaughn and Odell. They came in halfway through the season, but all of a sudden, like Odell just switches systems and he becomes a different player. So I think there's a lot of pieces that you can grab who can conform to the system. I definitely see the Rams making another Super Bowl. I don't see that anyone in the NFC is a big threat unless Rodgers stays and Tampa gets a guy like Deshaun. But I mean, they're better.
Totally fits my vibe.
So yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah. I think the stars at the end of the day will be there. But it's all about getting the little things, Well, in this case, the little things were Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller. But it's just gonna go down to that at the end of the day, drafting well in rounds.
It's not like you need Odell back. I mean, Robert Woods is going to be healthy next year. Van Jefferson's getting better. So I don't think Odell's that big of a need, if being honest.
I agree.
Like, Odell's more of a luxury piece more than anything. I think
I'm not saying like necessarily just Odell. I'm just saying like the pieces in general that were, a part of this team.
Yeah.
Like they're just going to come and go, you're going to get a bunch of vet minimum guys and hopefully they can make an impact.
Definitely.
I mean, to be honest, I think the offense could probably be better next year. You get another year with Stafford and like you got Jefferson getting better. Akers is getting healthy. I mean, if Whitworth can play another year at like a good level, like
he's retiring.
He's retiring. Yeah.
Like, okay. Hopefully they can find a way to replace him. But either way, like Rams run a zone blocking scheme, so it's Whitworth is I believe fairly replaceable. So I honestly think the Rams offense could be better next year. I think the replacements or at least during free agency, the adjustments they need to make is on the defensive side of the ball more than anything to keep that top defense.
I'm with you there. I think they definitely can. So I'll transition into the next question, our last little football question. Looking at the playoffs as a whole, who would you say is the MVP of the playoffs?
For like one player?
One player.
All right. Matheaus. I'll go with Matheaus Stafford. We mentioned this in previous episodes, but we were expecting Matheaus Stafford to have one game that like he just completely sucks in. But in this playoff run, I don't think he played a single bad game. He might have made a mistake or two, but for the most part, I thought Matheaus Stafford was phenomenal, and he had to go through a lot too. Like in Tampa Bay, his team just fell apart before him, and he was able to get it done at the end of the day with his clutch throws to Cooper Kupp. We all know the one that led to the game-winning field goal. Against San Francisco, complete mismatch in terms of scheme, but he was able to get it done against them. And in the Super Bowl too, I thought Matheaus Stafford played a phenomenal game. You can talk about his interceptions. At the end of the day, I don't think his interceptions were his fault. The first one where it was in the end zone, it was a 3rd and long. It's like an arm punt basically, and they ended up at the 5-yard line anyway. So I didn't mind that. It was a 50-50 ball. And then the second one was just. It's tough when your number 2 receiver is the 7th round pick, Ben Skoranek.
Making some excuses there.
Or I mean, if we're going MVP of the playoffs, I would think Joe Burrow would probably be
What?
MVP of the playoffs. Bro,
I
Joe Burrow,
name-
no chance. No
Dude.
chance.
this man, the Bengals would low-key be like a bottom, like one of the like worst records in the league without Joe Burrow, for being honest. Like this man got like sacked at least like 50 times in the playoffs. Like he
think
broke the record like against the
broke the
Titans, bro.
Super Bowl and the playoff record.
Nah, bro.
Seven-
I thought Joe Burrow was like, he didn't play well, you know? Like, I wouldn't say he had an
I don't
amazing
think
playoffs.
anyone can play well in those circumstances, bro. You know?
That's
You know,
fair.
So you're
Like-
telling me I think Burrow in the playoffs I don't think he threw a game over 300 yards, and I believe he had 5 touchdowns and 2 interceptions through
Yeah.
4
like,
games.
and like the thing is, when he did have big plays, I don't want to say they're fraud. I don't want to take anything away from them, but it was like a screen pass, you know, in the Chiefs game.
The Ramsey face mask.
Ramsey face mask, you know. I just didn't think Joe Burrow like got the job done at the end of the day, you know. And like with sports, like officiating and like luck is part of it, but to give him the MVP of the entire playoffs, honestly, I don't know if he'd make my top. He
No.
probably wouldn't make my top 5 MVP, you know.
Nah. Here's why I disagree. I think he's in by far of the worst situation out of all of these, like all these players. I'm talking about who's the most valuable players. If this guy wasn't there, the Bengals wouldn't even be nowhere near the playoffs. No. If you chose anyone, like who, if you said like Stafford, like even with Goff, bro, I still think the Rams are like still in the playoffs. Like without Joe Burrow, this team, like, let's be honest, this team is probably like a bottom 8 or 9 team in the league. You know?
I like
and
to
and
disagree with
to
that.
be fair, he did outduel every quarterback he played against. You know,
I just got to say, I see what you're saying, but we got to stop disrespecting that defense. That defense did not allow any team to score more than, like, I think it was like 23 points in 4 playoff games. Like, I know, here's the thing, though. The reason I'd say Burrow was top 5 to kind of meet you in the middle is that Burrow, while his numbers aren't great and the defense was phenomenal, he was almost the culture builder and the leader of the team, and that really matters. Everyone fed off of his energy.
That's true.
The Bengals got like this swag that kind of carried them in there. And leading to the Super Bowl, all we were hearing was Burrow this, Burrow that, but nobody was talking about the numbers because the numbers aren't really impressive. But just for sheer culture and like what he represents, I would put him top 5, but he's definitely not my pick.
Yeah, but yeah, the culture thing does matter, but I don't know. Top 5 is tough when you got guys like, you know, Cooper Kupp, even like Deebo Samuel, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, you know, over like Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow over them. Like, I don't see that, you know.
I might, just because he made a Super Bowl. It's an interesting question. But
well, I mean, I don't. Well, you know, I could also say like no one expected the Bengals to even like they're probably one of the least favorites to make the Super Bowl if you were like coming in the playoffs, and you know
the least favorite. Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, obviously we were questioning like their lack of experience, and although the defense is like fairly underrated, I mean it's not a Rams defense, for being honest. So I don't know how. Like I would say like Burrow was the most valuable player in terms of like purely like to their team. Like if you took him off their team, like who is actually the most valuable player? I think it's Joe Burrow. I mean,
yeah, I'm with you there. Burrow,
I don't know, man.
Your guy. But I'll go quick. I just got to say, you guys are both horribly wrong because I have no clue how you have not named like one of the 3 best players in the league who's basically responsible for everything the Rams are, and Aaron Donald. He's got to be the playoffs MVP. Like, to me, it's not even close. I thought he should have won Super Bowl MVP over Cooper Kupp too. I just think everyone kind of got like in awe of that last drive, which was great. But man, Aaron Donald, this 1 or 2 best defensive player of all time. And every single time his team needed him, he was there. So yes, like Stafford was scoring these touchdowns and stuff, which would be my runner up. But like we go back to the the Tampa game or the Kyler game right off the bat. Aaron Donald.
Right.
Kyler couldn't do anything. You go to the next game against Tampa, exact same thing. Brady gets the ball back at the end, and I said, before that, and that was it. Aaron Donald wreaked havoc on the game. Brady was forced to make a game plan for Aaron Donald. And of course, Brady almost was successful because he's Brady. But then you go to the next game and you guys played, it was the Niners. I remember telling myself that Aaron Donald will make that play again. Jimmy G gets the ball back and everyone's ridiculing him for not being able to get a field goal. But I mean, who would against that front? There, Aaron Donald was again winning that game. Then you go to the Super Bowl, exact same situation. When they needed him most, he showed up. Stafford got the touchdown. Everyone freaks out. But then it's not like the game's over. The Bengals could have scored or won the game. But we all know what Aaron Donald did. So to me, he's the clear playoffs MVP. He's got to be.
Yeah, no question. He's up there. It's Stafford or Donald to me. To me, it's just I prioritize offense. But you know, if you take out importance, I think Aaron Donald was probably the best player. If you take out positional value, he was literally unstoppable. And the Bengals, they had to game plan around him. They constantly sent to double team him, you know, almost every time. There was a triple team at one point, but this guy is phenomenal. I don't think I've ever seen a pass rusher like him, especially playing defensive tackle. You know, it's just ridiculous, like what this guy can do.
Before we move on to basketball, I just got to ask, do you think the Rams would be a better team without Stafford or Aaron Donald?
It depends on who their quarterback is and who their defensive tackle is, you know.
Well, let's go Jared Goff, which is, you know, what you had before, and defensive tackle. I don't know. Who's like your, just any normal defensive tackle? Replace him with normal players.
Okay, the thing is, like, for me, I think quarterback holds like 50% of the value of the team. So I think if you take Stafford off, it's going to have more of an impact. But you know, it's nothing. It's not taking. I'm not trying to take anything away from Aaron Donald. It's just because Stafford's the quarterback that matters. You know.
Man,
that's a tough call. That's tough. No, okay, I'll explain what I think. Like regards to that question, I think you could, if you took Donald off the team, you could like still be like with Stafford, you could still like probably like you still have a shot at a Super Bowl, but like I would think Donald is more valuable if that makes sense. So if I took, let's say, Jared Goff, I think I would still have a better chance at making the playoffs than if I took Donald off. But if I didn't have Stafford and I took like Donald off, I would still at least have a shot at a Super Bowl. If that makes sense.
I see what you're saying just because of the value of the QB, but I still disagree with both of you. Aaron Donald is way more valuable, and we've seen it. They've been a playoff team for years. They couldn't get over the hump, but you got to realize what Aaron Donald represents. And here's what I'll say. You look at the Rams as a defensive whole. Remember how elite we called their defense? We called like all of their linebackers and corners like these elite players. Every time they leave, I swear they disappear. Like as soon as they're not playing with Aaron Donald, they all disappear. And that just shows what he does. Without that defense, like the Rams don't win the Super Bowl this year. They don't. They're not making the playoffs. But to Alex's point, if they had kept Stafford and lost Donald, I think they'd make the playoffs. But I'd say they'd be a first round exit.
Yeah, it depends. Like it's just how you see it, you know. Quarterback is like, it's the most important because without a quarterback, you can't get anywhere.
True,
but if you don't have a defense, you can't win a championship, you know.
True, but with the Rams, we do have to account that McVay can kind of scheme a run game that can get sneaky good, like they did with Goff. But anyways, noted. So we'll move on to the next point. We'll get into basketball now, and we'll talk a little bit about the All-Star game. So, I mean, what were your thoughts?
Okay, All-Star weekend. What a crazy weekend. I thought it was very interesting. First of all, Myles Garrett should not be playing with these middle-aged like adults. Oh my God.
What, you mess with Machine Gun Kelly?
Machine Gun Kelly has like the worst jump shot I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm not gonna lie.
Talking smack too.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't watch too much of the Rising Star Challenge. Interesting format, I think, like the big three. Okay,
Yeah.
I just want to go into the dunk contest. Like, okay, skills contest was cool, I guess. 3-point contest was actually kind of sick. I like that Cat had like a crazy
Hold
shooting.
on, let me just say, did you ever think we'd get to a point in NBA history where the dunk contest was that garbage and we had a center getting 29 points? Like, think
know, that's
about that.
crazy.
Like, how much the league has changed in just 5 years. But
Yeah, man. Yeah, okay. This is kind of off topic, but I'm like 80, I'm like 95% sure Cat's like the greatest shooting center like of all time, period. If you think about like what he's doing,
Laker fans about to be
step back threes, shooting 10 of them, like 10 of them a game, you know?
Ball.
Bro, come on, man. This guy's phenomenal. Carl
Hey, my guy Hartenstein's been raining a couple threes, so you got to give him some credit.
The Kelly Olynyk? Are we serious?
What?
Boy Kelly?
Come on, man.
Nah, Cat's definitely up there.
Definitely.
I just like, bro, I'm just like sick of the dunk contest. I'm not gonna lie, like, hey, low-key need to get rid of that. Like,
yeah,
to be honest, like,
it's awful.
bro, like, I'm trying to see like a 3-dribble 1-on-1 tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
Like they low-key need to bring that, bro. No one's trying to see like these bum ass players dunk. Like they gotta start like paying dudes like to dunk because like
Nobody wants to do it.
yeah, like
No.
like if I see this dude Toscano Anderson in a dunk contest finale, like there's something wrong with the NBA, bro. Like this man, like I didn't even know yet. Dude, like I don't know. Like, does no one want to do it? Like, there's no way he should be in the dunk contest. Like, I don't like. Is the NBA really that down bad? Like, it's pretty crazy. So
Stars just don't like it. But I also feel like dunks are like almost too one-dimensional, if that makes sense. Like once you've seen enough dunks, it's kind of like, I don't know. I just feel like we get the same thing every year. Like what makes a dunk cool is the moment. So I don't know. I'm with you. I'd love to see some other things in there.
well, it's also the player doing it. Like, if Toscano Anderson does like a crazy windmill, it's like, who cares? If it's like John Morant does a windmill, everyone goes crazy. You know what I mean? It's also depends on the player. Like,
Very true. Unless you're D-Wade, then you know.
yeah, facts.
Dude, yeah, the dunk contest, man. I thought that was like sad to watch, you know. It was just a failure. Frick. I don't know who it was, but I think it was Juan Toscano Anderson. He tried to do the Vince Carter elbow dunk, I think. it looked so bad. It looked like he just dunked the ball like normally. Man, like that was pretty bad. What I thought was hilarious was,
bro, like, dude, you don't even forget Isaac, bro. Like the dunk after that, he was like 5 inches not high enough to do the dunk. On the Jason Richardson dunk.
No, like first of all, there's a way to like.
I don't even know if Juan Toscano Anderson is dunking that on an 8-foot hoop, bro. dude.
No, like
we're so optimistic.
No, but dude, like this guy does not know how to like perform. Like remember when Larry Nance Jr. When he was in the dunk contest, he like did a whole show to like change into his father's like Larry Nance Senior's jersey and stuff. Like that was insane, you know. But like as soon as we're back from commercial break, like Juan Toscano Anderson like suddenly has a Jason Richardson jersey. And we're like, okay. And this guy like, oh my god, it was so bad. It was really bad, you know. And then he couldn't even do the dunk. So it just like takes everything with the jersey like out the picture. I thought the biggest sale of the night was Jalen Green's. Oh my goodness. When he got the NFT, that was like the worst thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Not to mention he had the lowest like dunk percentage in the history of the dunk contest. Like let that settle in. Like I think this dude missed like 50 dunks.
Bro, Jalen Green, like his percentage on dunks was like what, 2 for like 20 or something like that. Or
I think it was 25.
20%.
Bro, like those percentages are lower than like a Westbrook contested 3-pointer. Like, you know? It's like,
no, that's facts, bro.
Like, this is the issue with the NBA. Like, they honestly need to get rid of this because, Like, I'm not trying to see this. Like they should honestly put the 3-point contest at like after the dunk contest because the 3-point contest is actually like mad exciting. Although like they should have got better names. I felt like this year. Like I don't know why you're like I don't know why. No disrespect, Luke Kennard did perform, but I'm not trying to see Luke Kennard shoot threes, bro. I'm sorry. Like I'm not trying to see Patty Mills shoot threes.
Yeah, like they're both amazing, over 40% 3-point shooters, but it's just like fans want to see the stars. Like I just wish they could incentivize stars to come out more.
Like I always thought like so like there's a pool of like rising stars, right? And then there's a pool of all-stars. I thought like they should only pull players from those events to put in these like Saturday games. So then like you could see like LeBron in 3-point contest. Like he probably wouldn't do that well, but it'd be exciting to watch. Like, I'm not trying to see like
that's facts. That's facts.
Like
it's
like
about,
it'd just be more exciting. It'd be more exciting. That's what the fans want to see. No one's want to see bums in the dunk contest and like nobodies in the 3-point contest.
That's true. I'd rather see LeBron like.
So like the pool should only be like the all-stars and like some of the rising stars. Like even like the rising star should be some. Like bro, I'm not trying to see Cole Anthony from the Magic in the dunk contest. He should not be a headliner, bro. Like
it's bad when the best dunk of the night was Cole Anthony dunking like in Tim's.
Dude, that's the best. Dude, at this point, dude, I was concerned, bro. They should just done like a jelly contest, bro. Like none of the dudes can even get up, bro. Like they like it's crazy. Like I don't know, bro. The 3-point contest is great though. I actually really like the 3-point contest now though. With like the Mountain Dew zones and like you choose your money ball. Cause like,
I like that format a lot.
Yeah, because like anyone can like any like hot stretch, you can like get back in it if that makes sense. Like, you can like you can have like some insane finishes, so they really need to have that as the headliner, but they need better names. Like I wish Curry and like was in that 3-point contest like damn every year, just be more exciting than Kennard and Patty Mills shooting threes.
Amen. Respect my boy a little bit here. My boy that was his to win, man. But these stupid centers, not even good. Anyways,
with all those, come on, bro. Like I know like dudes in the fans like Lil Baby, like who the hell is this dude shooting, bro? Like he's just white boy Rick shooting threes, like like come on, man. Luke Kennard in 3-point contest.
Yeah, that's facts.
Yeah, I'm with you there. But
it's about giving what the crowd wants, Unless like the only reason why Joe Harris's 3-point contest was hype was because he beat Stephen Curry, That's why it was hype. It's because of the star. Like I think like like Alex said, getting these bums in the dunk contest is like asking for failure, of an event.
Yeah. But I will say, speaking of formatting, I did really love the All-Star game format. It forces
the All-Star game made up for the disastrous Saturday night for sure.
I love how it forces you to end on a make shot or some cheese Disney free throws. But it's a great format. I love the drafting too. Like East and West is so cliche. And can we just shout out Kevin Durant and Charles Barkley for putting on that Harden display? Like that was probably my favorite thing of the whole weekend.
Yo, can Kevin Durant draft a team though?
Bro,
dude doesn't know.
He tried so hard not to get Harden. This guy's like, he's like, oh, I need some size. Give me Sabonis, and then he's like, oh, I need more size. Give me Gobert. Like, what?
Bro, I wouldn't draft Harden either, bro. But I do think they should make this adjustment to the draft. I think they should draft before the game. Like that'd just be more exciting, If they just had the players line up. Yeah, this.
And you have like a reversible jersey.
Yeah, no, yeah, they just hand out jerseys. Like NBA's rich enough, they can make 2 of each player, and then they just start handing out jerseys, just like pick them right on the spot. Like that, how exciting that'd be right before the game. Then players don't even know who's on who. Yeah, that'd be way more fire than just having a pre-recorded draft like 2 Thursdays ago or like a couple Thursdays ago. So I would make that.
I thought the draft was pretty entertaining.
I love it. It's funny.
Yeah.
As for the actual game itself, oh man, where do I go with this? Like, okay, yeah, we can talk about Curry being the first player ever to get double teamed in All-Star game. Like,
Wow.
let that sink in for a minute.
No, wow. I couldn't get over the fact that he dropped 16 threes. I remember telling my roommate, yo, Stephen Curry dropped 16 threes, right? And this fool thought that I said he shot 16 threes. But when he saw like the stat line that he made 16 threes, this dude, my roommate, like started freaking out, you know. I don't think I've ever seen a 16 3-point game ever, you know.
Yeah, that was incredible. We could also talk about one of my favorite moments, one of the clunkiest fadeaways I've ever seen to win the game by LeBron. Like, this dude was on the floor like a second ago, and he's like being half guarded. I just can't explain it to you, but the way he just rotated and just kind of like did his little over the head shot, I don't know how that went in, to be honest. Like, even the way it went in was weird. It's got to be the clunkiest fadeaway I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Hey, you still trying to find ways to criticize LeBron, bro?
I mean, dude, be honest with me. That was one of the most unfluid jump shots I think I've ever seen. Like, I think the whole stadium knew what he was gonna do too. But
bro, it was a one-leg Dirk fadeaway, bro.
Come on, man. You gotta stop hating on all-star GM LeBron, man. 5-0, 5-0.
Oh, he's 5-0, bro. 5-0.
We need to get someone else other than KD drafting, man. I don't even know what KD doing.
Hey, he's gonna be like Mike next year, bro. 6-0, and he's gonna call it quits, maybe.
True. But I also will say, I think the format
six rings in the All-Star draft. 6 rings.
The draft is low-key rigged, though. Like, let's be honest here. Like, because the thing is, they give LeBron the first pick, they give KD 2, then they give LeBron 3, KD 4, like, and they go until the last one. You're like, oh, you get both of them. Like, okay, great, you get Wiggins, but like you had a worse pick the entire way.
Wait, also, I just want to touch on this. The voting thing has to like be fixed. Andrew Wiggins being an All-Star starter in an All-Star game is actually like, there's no way that should happen. You know,
Facts.
Ever. They have to fix that. You know, fans should not have 50% of the vote. You know, a couple of years ago, Zaza Pachulia almost was a starting center for the West. You know?
Yeah.
They gotta fix this.
They gotta stop with the positions too, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
because Alex is right. The reason Wiggins was a starter was because of the position. It was either Wiggins or Draymond. I get it.
Yeah, and also like guys like Gobert like should not be making the All-Star. I'm sorry.
But like, I find the NBA really inconsistent with these positions because DeMar DeRozan's actually not a guard, but they moved into the guard so they can like fit in the thing, but they won't fit in like Booker for a forward spot when Booker and like DeRozan play the same position. So it's like, it doesn't make sense. So at that point, they should just go no positions in terms of All-Star. Like, it's kind of stupid.
Yeah, that's true. But then we'll get like an all-star starting lineup of 10 guards, you know?
But like at the end of the day, I think like people would rather see that than
Wiggins.
Gobert and Wiggins.
Yeah.
Maybe they should just do like positionless and then a center. I think.
No center. Like there should not be, like there's no way like Jared Allen should be making, like he's having a good year.
Oh,
like,
no, but by default, Jokic and Embiid and like LeBron and dudes that are big would, you know.
Yeah,
that's true.
Most players will be in the game, you know.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't think it makes
Gobert. Are you serious?
yeah.
Like, are we really serious?
Gobert is not an All-Star, bro.
You know, like, you know, CJ McCollum's been like screwed over by this for the past like 10 years, like his entire career.
Yeah, he's not a good enough guard to make the All-Star game.
Yeah, which is like, that makes no sense.
True. But I gotta touch on this for my TikTok people here. Joel Embiid, man, like this is an all-star game. This dude was like actually like playing. And not only that, we get to the fourth quarter. I'm watching the last 3 minutes of this game. You're telling me you're surrounded by the greatest players in the world, and he still can't be a team player. Like, I swear, 5 straight possessions, they put Embiid on the block and had him post up in an all-star game. And he missed all, like, are you kidding me? You're telling me you still can't play as a team in the all-star game.
Dude, Embiid's a fraud. Like,
come on, bro. He not no fraud, bro.
No, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like, dude, like,
it's so sad. Like,
he's a regular season type of player. You know, he's not like someone I want in my playoff team. And like, I don't want him to be my number 1 or number 2 option. Like, I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
Are you, dude? Y'all gotta stop with this. Y'all see the game against the Bucks he had last week, bro?
Dude, regular season player. Watch him in the playoffs. It's actually like night and day.
Right.
His way of playing. like there's a direct counter to that, like he's not versatile enough to like be good in the playoffs. He's just like, I'm not like trying to like simplify who he is, but he's like a low post scorer. And like, that's great, but that's so easy to counter in today's NBA,
Dude,
especially when
he
you
needs
have like
elite guard play. He needs elite guard play, dude. Like, I think you can win with Embiid as like your second option, bro. Like, dude, you need elite guard play with Embiid. Look at the past couple years.
Yeah, if it's Kevin Durant, maybe.
No, if it was like Jimmy Butler from a couple years ago, it was fine. They should have they could have won the finals with Jimmy Butler on the Sixers.
But the thing is, like, that team was arguably like one of the best.
We can't just say Jimmy. We got to add in.
Yeah, but bro, like, look at who's Embiid's been surrounded by. Like, dude, look at his guards the past couple of years. Like, what is Ben Simmons going to do in the fourth quarter? What is Tobias Harris going to do half the time in the fourth quarter? Like, what are all these like bums going to do in the fourth quarter? So yeah, like a lot of like pressures put on Embiid. So like, yeah, of course he struggled in the playoffs, like especially in the fourth quarters, because the whole defense knows the ball is going to Embiid because all these bums on like on the perimeter can't do anything.
My thing is, even if he does have an elite guard, it's still going to be the same thing. You're just going to get him the ball in the post. It's going to be predictable either way because that's his way of scoring and being effective.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm also interested in.
Yeah, my thing with Embiid is you're right. Like the freaking All-Star game, this guy is still on the block posting up. My thing is, if Embiid's going to win a chip, he can absolutely win a chip as a 2 with elite guard play, like Alex said, but he can't be the guy inside of 5 minutes. Like, I'm just being honest. I do not want him posting up inside of 5 minutes. Like, the only reason I can see the Sixers coming out of it is they get a fraud injury run, kind of like the Suns last year, or Harden somehow strips the fat suit and just performs at like an elite level, which he never does in the fourth quarter in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, no, like that's the thing though. I actually don't know if like I really like the Sixers are low-key fraudulent, And if you look at the roster, it's not that good. It's really not that good.
They have no team. They have 5 guys. Yeah. Like, who we got?
Guys.
We got overpaid Tobias.
There's Tobias, like Thibault.
I think Maxi's the X factor.
That's my thing. If Maxi really like blossoms, like this is a different story.
But
it's like a typical regular season player, like Embiid. Then I don't see this team going past the second round, period.
Yeah, but
like low-key in the first round, like if they like play the Cavs, like is it ridiculous to take the Cavs over them?
Also, let me just say really quick, speaking of the Cavs.
No, it is pretty ridiculous, bro.
It is not ridiculous. They match up so well against the Sixers.
They do. The matchup's there. Because like
they do, but it's ridiculous, bro.
It is not ridiculous.
I'm just interested to see this Sixers team because I just want to see how this like pick and roll thing works with Harden and Embiid because Embiid does not run a lot of pick and roll.
Yeah,
he's a guy
pick and roll guy though. That's
who spends a lot of time on the block. He likes the ball on the short corner. Like he likes the ball. He like face ups on the short corner. He likes touches on the block. Like a lot of those touches are gonna be gone, and they're gonna run a lot of pick and roll now with Harden, I'm assuming. So that'll be interesting. Unless if they try to use Harden. Like it's Doc Rivers at the end of the day. So like they might use Harden as like, I don't know, like
a catch and
regular,
shoot.
Like a catch and shoot or something. You know what I mean? So
on top of that, you're asking Doc Rivers to like figure this out for you. It's not looking good. Like
you're talking Mr. Zero adjustments to make two of the biggest divas who are ball dominant to play together.
Yeah, and Doc Rivers, one of the worst adjustment coaches I've ever seen in my entire life. Like his scheme going into a game is pretty good, but once like a team learns how to counter it, he doesn't do anything.
Well, he lives by the mindset. Like once he makes a scheme, his thing is trust the process. Like trust what you're doing, trust your teammates. I believe in you to win this game. And that's great. That's why you have the most blown 3-0, 3-1 leads in NBA history. Like, congrats.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
know. I don't trust the Sixers. But I do want to add, because you're talking about Jared Allen, while Embiid was posting up in an all-star game trying to ISO score, Jared Allen actually cooked him. Like, it was – I don't think I've seen someone stop Embiid like that before. I think it was 3 straight post-ups where he missed because he couldn't move Jared Allen in the paint. So, like –
bro, come on. It's an all-star game, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but Embiid was, like, going all out, bro.
We all be clowning.
Wait,
Embiid
okay,
too
okay.
much,
If we
bro.
talk like
Come on,
Cavs,
man.
if we hypothetically talk Cavs Philadelphia, like in what way do the Sixers have an advantage? You know,
Hmm?
like
They
offensive
still
big
have
men,
the two
sure.
best players
But
on
you
the
have guys like Mobley and Jarrett Allen like double teaming him, you know, and they don't have the Sixers don't have guard play that can counter that, unless Harden becomes a top 5 player and like back to his top 5 self, and Maxey becomes this all-star. You know, if that's the
Bro.
case, then I'll take the Sixers. But from what I've seen with Harden for the past like year and a half, there's like no way.
Dude, Jared Allen. I love Evan Mobley. I like Jared Allen. They're not shutting down Embiid, bro. Y'all tripping, bro. They're not shutting down Embiid.
No,
Like, Embiid's
I
still.
don't think
When it
they'll
comes
shut down
fourth
Embiid.
quarter time, Embiid will be a non-factor.
Dude,
against
stop,
the Cavs,
Stop. Not enough.
I actually-
it's so easy to scheme.
Like,
It's so easy to scheme.
I'm with Isaac on this. Like, I think Embiid's gonna have 30 pieces almost every game in the playoffs, but in the last 5 minutes, I mean, Embiid's already. I forget the stat. I think he has the worst clutch percentage of like scoring clutch percentage in the league over the last.
bro, I'm telling you, it's because he had no guard play. Like, the whole defense is focused on because what you want him to kick it out of Ben Simmons?
Bro, but even
like,
okay,
That's a
the
good
thing is, like,
point.
even if he had elite guard play with the like his play style, I don't know if it's gonna like translate because, well, it's hard to say if he's good in the pick and roll, but dude's not explosive and dude's not a good rim runner, you know.
okay, he can. Oh, he's also like Embiid's really elite on face-ups in the short corner. Like, he can do a lot of things. Like,
Yeah,
he's
all
not just a
it's getting him the
post-up
ball in the
player.
post, you know, in any way possible. Like
I'm
low
sorry, though,
block,
but
short corner, top of the key, like that's cool, but
Are
these
you-
are all easy to counter.
are you telling me in the playoffs inside of 5
Especially if
minutes
you're not like
you,
an elite
you want
passer.
Embiid like facing up in the corner? No chance I want that.
Dude, he's dominant in the short corner on face-ups, bro. Like, he has a
Okay,
bag.
but it's so easy to like counter against that though.
If
Especially when you have
Harden can take some
Mobley
stress
and
off him,
Jared
I think he'll be fine.
My other question with the Sixers that's really big too is we know how small Harden shows up in the playoffs. Like, I don't think he's had a complete playoff series yet, despite what you say about him. And I mean, Embiid, I don't trust him in the clutch either. Like, I don't know. I don't. And Doc Rivers, Mr. Zero Adjustment, I see them struggling late in games.
I see it too. Like, and like the thing is, like, I know offense is important, but like I've learned it hard this year. Like like you need guards who can really lock up and clamp. If your best defender is Matheaus Thybulle, you're talking about Tobias Harris on the wing with like James Harden and Tyrese Maxey, you know. And when you play against elite guard play on the other side, I don't understand how they're gonna how are they gonna stop him, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we also got to acknowledge the fact that their bench is non-existent now. They're basically
I mean, their bench is always non-existent. They like I can't name a single piece off the bench. Also, like,
okay, but at the end of the day, you're not using much depth in the playoffs. But like I don't know why y'all trash on this. I still think the Sixers are somewhat of a contender. Y'all acting like they trash. Like I'd probably say they're.
I mean, they are. If Harden is the
No,
same
they're
player that
not.
he is, dude. If Harden's what he is like this
Harden's
year,
the same player. I still think they're probably like the third or fourth, at least the third or fourth best team.
I'd be reaching.
yeah,
Like,
third
bro,
or fourth
y'all be
best
saying-
means second round exit. You know, that's
Yeah,
what it is.
fourth. I'd give them
Yeah,
four.
but who
Yeah,
got
second
ahead
round
of them?
exit
The
team.
Bulls?
No, I ain't taking the Bulls ahead of them.
I'm taking
Not
the Heat.
yet.
I'm taking the Nets, and I'm taking
The Bucks,
the
easy.
Bucks. Yeah.
Yeah, I put them right there at 4.
Yeah.
But I'm not
Yeah.
even kidding. If they had a series versus the Bulls, like,
Yeah, I'd probably take them with the Bulls. I actually think the Bulls are one of the most fraudulent teams I've ever seen in my entire life. Well, not to take anything away from DeMar and like what he's doing over there. I love like Lonzo's great. I love Alex Caruso. I love him. Man, there's no chance that team is going past the second round.
it's a mismatch.
I give them a shot.
Unless
It's a
DeMar
mismatch.
DeRozan is literally a top 10 player, which I think is somewhat possible. But man, it's gonna be like a lot for them to make the conference finals, you know.
Yeah, but
Especially
like you
with
also
that
gotta realize like
lack of depth.
Levine and like DeRozan are like built for the playoffs. Like their styles are built for the playoffs.
Yeah.
So I don't think
I think
we
the
have to pick
Bulls. I think the Bulls can absolutely make a run, and I love their I love their roster. The only reason I put them ahead of the Sixers is Embiid is no bum. Like, as much as I make fun of him, if you put Embiid against Vucevic, like Embiid's he's gonna have a lot of big games. And the thing is, it'd be a guard heavy team versus the Sixers. I don't know. The Sixers can actually have like some decent perimeter defense, but
yeah, I don't think the Bulls are like legit. Okay, if we're gonna blame if we're gonna call it the Sixers for like having no depth, we gotta call it the Bulls for having no depth, man. They're relying on. Like, I know Ayo Dosunmu is like having a good year, but dude, like you can't be relying on a guy like that if you really want.
Yeah, you can. Ayo's really good, bro.
And what about Caruso? Dude, Caruso's been holding down the.
Caruso, like
their depth is not
okay.
that
No,
bad,
think about this though. It's DeMar, Vucevic, Caruso, Lonzo, and like Levine, you know, and
Ayo Dosunmu.
Bro, I don't know, man. Like I'm still skeptical of Ayo, you know, and
How?
On top of that, okay, fine. I'll give you Ayo. Then who else on this team are you feeling confident about playing it? You know?
They're not that bad though. Like just in general,
They're not bad, but I'm not taking them over the Sixers. You know,
I think it's close. I'll probably give the Sixers the edge, but like I'm telling you, is like who do you want? Who are you trusting in the fourth quarter of a playoff game? Are you going to trust Embiid or Harden, or are you going to trust DeMar and Levine? Like I'm taking DeMar and Levine.
yeah, that's fair. I mean,
they got to get there first. Like,
it's just the roster is so top heavy. You know,
it is.
Bulls,
but I mean,
no, I think they'd be a legit threat if they're in the West. If the Bulls were in the West, bro, I think they'd actually be a legit threat. I can't even lie.
Well, yeah, the West is wide open, so I mean.
oh yeah,
I think like the five.
The matchup's good too.
Five teams in the East could low-key make.
Chris Paul's out for like a long time too. On top of that,
I think the Bulls match up really well against the Suns and the Warriors too, because those are going to be guard heavy battles. Because you're taking guys like Caruso and Ball, and you're putting them on like Booker and like Chris Paul. Like it's a tough matchup.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Vucevic can he's not anything that special, but like you're playing against DeAndre Ayton and whoever who are we kidding? The Warriors will go small ball in the fourth, but still
the Warriors, I think if the Warriors played the Bulls, it would be like a sweep. They just don't match up well, you know. When Draymond
would not be a sweep.
No, I think they match up the same.
Okay, it'd be a sweep or in 5. Like, and also it depends on how good Clay is. I think he's looking pretty good. It's a mismatch, you know, and especially when they go small, Draymond is center, so they don't have a small ball 5 there unless they want like Tristan Thompson playing.
Bro, I think Levine and DeRozan's games are built for the playoffs, especially in like the fourth quarters.
Yeah,
so,
they are, but I just think it's I think it's going to be a complete mismatch against the Warriors, especially when Draymond is playing center.
Let's think hypothetically, like if they were to match up with the Warriors small ball, I would assume they'd go Caruso, Ball, Levine, DeRozan.
Sure.
That 5 spot.
Probably have to run Pat Williams, like Patrick Williams.
He's out for the season.
Oh, he is?
Yeah. He hasn't played this entire year. That's what I'm saying. Like they don't have a small ball 5, unless they want to go. If they want to play 5 guards, like maybe, but I don't know if that's going to work against Draymond and Curry's connection is like Draymond and Curry's connection is like
they could run Derek Jones Jr. He's more athletic.
That's what I'm saying though. Like none of these guys are like legit small ball 5s, you know.
Yeah, Tristan Thompson's competent for small ball. He's a little slow.
He's not defending that Curry Draymond like handoff chemistry crap, you know. He's not, especially now.
I'd say if the Bulls would need like one of those, I'm sorry, I always gravitate to the Clippers, but if they had like a Covington or Batum piece for that small ball 5, then I think that would be.
I think that's what their weakness is, you know. And like at the end of the day, I don't think they're going to be playing the Warriors in the playoffs. I think they're second round exit team, but
maybe. But they're definitely top 5 for me.
Come on.
They're top 5.
Okay, let's talk like bro just said. If the Bulls had Batum as a it would be legit.
Bro, I said that Batum's a good small ball 5 piece for sure. Athletic, he spaces the floor and he's got long arms.
I get what Matt's saying. But
no, I get what you're saying. Like, if you have, but He's not game change. Like he's not turning the Bulls.
No,
into,
I'm just saying as a fit, when you have 4 players
Yeah,
like that,
fit,
you don't
fit
need
does
like,
matter. Fit does
you
matter.
don't need a 5th player to be like some superstar. Like you can just have a competent role player who can at least guard with long arms and just like space the floor. Like that's what you're looking for a
Yeah.
small
They
five.
could really use like a Thaddeus Young. I don't know where he is right now, to be honest.
He got traded to the Raptors, I think. Right?
He's on the Raptors?
Yeah, I think so. I think Thad's on the Raptors. He was in the wasn't it the Dragic for Thaddeus Young trade?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he's on the Raptors.
I don't know why.
Oh, by the way, okay.
Raptors need him.
Before we end, like I'm just gonna end off with like watch out for the Raptors. I actually think they can make some noise in the playoffs this year. Like potentially 2nd round team, you know, and I think they can like potentially upset one of the top 5.
I mean, yeah, we got to think
Need more
about
creators.
like, yeah, they lack. I'm with you. They lack shot creators. Like, okay, Van Fleet can shoot, but like, is he really your best shot creator? If you know what I mean. Like, we know what Siakam. Like, come on.
I just think they're a tough matchup. You know, they got long wings and they have a couple shot creators. Van Vliet.
I mean, Nick Nurse would have to be like, he'd have to go on a ridiculous coaching run.
Yeah. And like that's possible, you know, because Nick Nurse is probably the best coach in basketball by a long shot, you know.
No. He's number 2.
Oh my God. Oh,
hey, my guy Ty Lue should win Coach of the Year this year. That's all I'm saying. I don't think they'll give it to the Clips unless we just somehow get to like a 7-6 seed, but I really think he deserves it with this roster playing at that level.
Well,
anyways,
that's a topic for another day, but that's very questionable there.
Yeah, we can get there a different day. I'd love to debate that. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of Fish Out of Water. I think we covered some pretty interesting topics. Next week, we will be going over more NBA, so stay tuned for that announcement. And thank you all for joining and listening.